Namaste and welcome to the Astral Mandir. In Jyotish, Saturn or Shani is the kāraka of the servant, the worker, and the one who bears the weight of karma. Saturn represents discipline, service, longevity, sorrow, and delayed rewards. He is the karmic judge, the planet of endurance and responsibility, who teaches patience and humility through struggle. Today we journey through the Nakshatras to see how Saturn expresses himself across these cosmic mansions. So we start with the first set of 9 Nakshatras, which runs from Ashwini in Aries to Ashlesha in Cancer. So starting with Ashwini Nakshatra. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Ashwini Nakshatra, service is youthful yet tested by patience. The karmic worker slows impulsive beginnings, demanding steadiness before success. Duty here is pioneering but restrained, while the aura is magnetic yet cautious. Dharma thrives on healing and new ventures, but Saturn delays results, teaching endurance. The servant blesses persistence, guiding the soul to ground youthful energy. The karmic lesson is patience, that is, service must temper enthusiasm. The worker shows that true growth lies in steady effort. Ultimately, Saturn in Ashwini makes karma a slow flame where beginnings blossom through discipline. The next nakshatra is Bharani. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Bharani nakshatra, service is intense, karmic, and transformative. The karmic worker tests passion, demanding restraint and responsibility. Duty here is magnetic, tied to karmic lessons of endurance, while the aura is bold and commanding. Dharma thrives on transformation, but Saturn delays fulfillment, teaching discipline. The servant blesses devotion, guiding the soul to respect boundaries. The karmic lesson is restraint, that is, service must temper passion. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Bharani makes karma a crucible for discipline, where passion blossoms only within dharma. The next nakshatra is Bharani. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Bharani nakshatra, service burns with purification and endurance. The karmic worker tests sharpness, demanding compassion beneath intensity. Duty here is fiery, protective, and decisive, while the aura is penetrating and strong. Dharma thrives on purification, but Saturn slows progress, teaching patience. The servant blesses resilience, guiding the soul to refine fire through wisdom. The karmic lesson is compassion, that is, service must soften sharpness. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through endurance. Ultimately, Saturn in Krittika makes karma a purifier of discipline, where the fire blossoms into dharma through patience. The next is Rohini Nakshatra. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Rohini Nakshatra, service is fertile, magnetic, and enduring. The karmic worker tests indulgence, demanding moderation within abundance. Duty here is creative, nurturing, and protective, while the aura is luminous and graceful. Dharma thrives on prosperity, but Saturn delays fulfillment, teaching restraint. The servant blesses loyalty and devotion, guiding the soul to balance pleasure with responsibility. The karmic lesson is moderation, that is, service must temper abundance. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through restraint. Ultimately, Saturn in Rohini makes karma a garden tested by discipline, where prosperity blossoms only within dharma. The next nakshatra is Mrigashira. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Mrigashira nakshatra, service is curious, searching, and restless. The karmic worker slows wandering, demanding commitment within exploration. Duty here is inquisitive, playful, and experimental, while the aura is delicate and expressive. Dharma thrives on novelty, but Saturn delays fulfillment, teaching devotion. The servant blesses adaptability, guiding the soul to root curiosity in dharma. The karmic lesson is commitment, that is, service must ground exploration. The worker shows that true growth lies in devotion. Ultimately, Saturn in Mrigashira makes karma a seeker tested by discipline, where curiosity blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Ardra. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Ardra Nakshatra, service is stormy, intense, and transformative. The karmic worker tests resilience, demanding endurance through upheaval. Duty here is deep, tied to destruction and renewal, while the aura is magnetic and stormy. Dharma thrives on transformation, but Saturn delays healing, teaching patience. The servant blesses endurance, guiding the soul to compassion through storms. The karmic lesson is resilience, that is, service must embrace change. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through transformation. Ultimately, Saturn in Ardra makes karma a purifier of discipline, where storms blossom into dharma. The next nakshatra is Punarvasu. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Punarvasu nakshatra, service is forgiving, nurturing, and resilient. The karmic worker tests renewal, demanding patience through cycles. Duty here is optimistic, restorative, and forgiving, while the aura is calming and soft. Dharma thrives on renewal, but Saturn delays restoration, teaching endurance. The servant blesses resilience, guiding the soul to embrace second chances. The karmic lesson is renewal, that is, service must endure trials. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through patience. Ultimately, Saturn in Punarvasu makes karma a beacon of discipline, where renewal blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Pushya. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Pushya nakshatra, service is devoted, traditional, and deeply nurturing. The karmic worker is steady, protective, and wise, shaping responsibility through care. Duty here shines as loyalty and sacrifice, while the aura is auspicious and comforting. Dharma thrives on devotion and service, and Saturn blesses endurance through tradition. The karmic lesson is balance. Service must nurture without losing self. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Pushya makes karma a guardian of nourishment, where discipline sustains dharma through care. The last of this set of 9 nakshatras is Ashlesha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Ashlesha nakshatra, the service is mysterious, binding, and transformative. The karmic worker tests possessiveness, demanding liberation through restraint. Duty here is magnetic, intense, and secretive, while the aura is serpentine and penetrating. Dharma thrives on hidden truths, but Saturn delays fulfillment, teaching patience. The servant blesses loyalty and depth, guiding the soul to devotion through release. The karmic lesson is liberation, that is, service must free rather than bind. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through restraint. Ultimately, Saturn in Ashlesha makes karma a mystic path of discipline, where hidden truths blossom into dharma. Now we come to the next set of 9 nakshatras, starting from Magha in Leo to Jyeshta in Scorpio. Magha in Leo nakshatra. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Magha nakshatra, service carries dignity, pride, and ancestral responsibility. The karmic worker demands respect for lineage, instilling humility through service to forefathers. Duty is dignified, protective, and loyal, while the aura is commanding and upright. Dharma thrives on ancestral duty, but Saturn slows progress, teaching patience and honoring tradition. The servant blesses reverence for ancestry, guiding the soul to humility. The karmic lesson is balance, that is, service must temper pride with tenderness. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through loyalty to lineage. Ultimately, Saturn in Magha makes karma a guardian of tradition, where discipline sustains ancestral dharma. The next nakshatra is Purva Phalguni. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Purva Phalguni Nakshatra, service is tied to pleasure, creativity, and responsibility. The karmic worker tests indulgence, demanding balance between joy and duty. Duty is artistic, magnetic, and playful, while the aura is radiant and graceful. Dharma thrives on creativity, but Saturn delays fulfillment, teaching responsibility. The servant blesses devotion, guiding the soul to harmonize pleasure with dharma. The karmic lesson is restraint, where service must temper indulgence. The worker shows that true growth lies in joy aligned with responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Purva Phalguni makes karma a festival tested by discipline, where pleasure blossoms only within dharma. The next nakshatra is Uttara Phalguni. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, service is loyal, steady, and principled. The karmic worker values responsibility, sacred bonds, and devotion, shaping dharma through endurance. Duty is dependable, protective, and trustworthy, while the aura is dignified and calm. Dharma thrives on long term commitment, but Saturn shows fulfillment, teaching tenderness within responsibility. The servant blesses loyalty, guiding the soul to honor sacred unions. The karmic lesson is patience, that is, service must keep love warm within duty. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Uttara Phalguni makes karma a guardian of sacred bonds, where discipline sustains dharma through devotion. The next nakshatra is Hasta. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Hasta Nakshatra, service is skillful, caring, and practical. The karmic worker inspires dexterity, service, and healing, but tests spontaneity through routine. Duty is creative, nurturing, and protective, while the aura is calming and graceful. Dharma thrives on service, but Saturn slows progress, teaching endurance. The servant blesses skillful devotion, guiding the soul to express care through discipline. The karmic lesson is endurance, that is, service must keep emotions fresh within responsibility. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through service expressed with skill. Ultimately, Saturn in Hasta makes karma a craftsman of discipline, where patience sustains dharma through care. The next nakshatra is Chitra. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Chitra Nakshatra, service dazzles with artistry, design, and responsibility. The karmic worker tests beauty, demanding depth beneath aesthetics. Duty is creative, magnetic, and captivating, while the aura is striking and radiant. Dharma thrives on artistry, but Saturn shows indulgence, teaching substance. The servant blesses creativity, guiding the soul to balance beauty with responsibility. The karmic lesson is depth, that is, service must harmonize aesthetics with dharma. The worker shows that true growth lies in artistry and grounded in truth. Ultimately, Saturn in Chitra makes karma a masterpiece tested by discipline, where beauty blossoms only when aligned with dharma. The next nakshatra is Swati. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Swati Nakshatra, the service is exalted, independent, free spirited, and enduring. The karmic worker inspires individuality, fairness, and liberty, but tests intimacy through detachment. Duty is airy, refreshing, and detached, while aura is light and graceful. Dharma thrives on freedom, but Saturn slows independence, teaching responsibility. The servant blesses individuality, guiding the soul to balance liberty with closeness. The karmic lesson is intimacy, that is, service must harmonize independence with devotion. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through freedom tempered with responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Swati makes karma a free spirit tested by discipline, where liberty blossoms only within dharma. The next nakshatra is Vishakha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servants, shines in Vishakha Nakshatra, service is ambitious, determined, and goal oriented. The karmic worker inspires drive and achievement, but tests compassion through intensity. Duty is persuasive, competitive, and commanding, while the aura is sharp and magnetic. Dharma thrives on ambition, but Saturn slows progress, teaching patience. The servant blesses determination, guiding the soul to harmonize ambition with compassion. The karmic lesson is harmony, that is, service must balance drive with tenderness. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through ambition aligned with responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Vishakha makes karma a crucible for discipline, where goals blossom only within dharma. The next nakshatra is Anuradha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Anuradha Nakshatra, the service is loyal, devoted, and compassionate. The karmic worker inspires friendship, trust, and harmony, but tests independence through devotion. Duty is steady, protective, and caring, while the aura is soothing and gentle. Dharma thrives on companionship, but Saturn slows dependence, teaching balance. The servant blesses loyalty, guiding the soul to harmonize devotion with individuality. The karmic lesson is independence, that is, service must balance loyalty with freedom. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through companionship aligned with responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Anuradha makes karma a sanctuary of discipline where loyalty blossoms into dharma. The last nakshatra for this batch of 9 nakshatras is Jyeshtha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Jyeshtha Nakshatra, service is protective, authoritative, and commanding. The karmic worker inspires leadership and responsibility, but tests compassion through authority. Duty is serious, loyal, and commanding, while the aura is powerful and dignified. Dharma thrives on leadership, but Saturn slows authority, teaching tenderness. The servant blesses responsibility, guiding the soul to soften strength with compassion. The karmic lesson is care, that is, service must temper authority with love. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through strength aligned with tenderness. Ultimately, Saturn in Jyeshtha makes karma a leader of discipline, where responsibility blossoms into dharma. Now we come to the last set of 9 nakshatras, running from Mula Nakshatra in Sagittarius to Revati in Pisces. So starting with Mula Nakshatra, when Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Mula Nakshatra, service is probing, intense, and transformative. The karmic worker uproots illusions, demanding truth at the deepest level. Duty is fearless, uncompromising, and searching, while the aura is mysterious and penetrating. Dharma thrives on dissolution and renewal, but Saturn slows progress, teaching detachment. The servant blesses resilience, guiding the soul to accept endings as gateways of growth. The karmic lesson is detachment, that is service must embrace dissolution as liberation. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through transformation. Ultimately, Saturn in Mula makes karma a seeker of truth, where discipline uproots illusion to reveal dharma. The next nakshatra is Purva Ashadha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Purva Ashadha nakshatra, service is ambitious, persuasive, and resilient. The karmic worker inspires resilience by testing humility through competition. Duty flows like water, overcoming obstacles with endurance, while the aura is radiant and commanding. Dharma thrives on ambition, but Saturn delays victory, teaching patience. The servant blesses resilience, guiding the soul to temper ambition with compassion. The karmic lesson is humility, that is, service must balance strength with tenderness. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through resilience aligned with compassion. Ultimately, Saturn in Purva Ashadha makes karma invincible, where discipline blossoms through persistence. The next nakshatra is Uttara Ashadha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Uttara Ashadha nakshatra, service is principled, loyal, and enduring. The karmic worker inspires righteousness, honesty, and devotion, but tests tenderness through responsibility. Duty is steady, protective, and righteous, while the aura is dignified and calm. Dharma thrives on truth and responsibility, but Saturn slows fulfillment, teaching patience. The servant blesses righteousness, guiding the soul to honor dharma with compassion. The karmic lesson is tenderness, that is, service must keep love alive within duty. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through honesty and care. Ultimately, Saturn in Uttara Ashadha makes karma a guardian of righteousness, where discipline sustains dharma through integrity. The next nakshatra is Shravana. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Shravana nakshatra, service is attentive, wise, and communicative. The karmic worker inspires listening, learning, and guidance, but tests humility through patience. Duty thrives on tradition and communication, while the aura is calm and attentive. Dharma thrives on understanding, but Saturn delays recognition, teaching, and endurance. The servant blesses wisdom through listening, guiding the soul to humility. The karmic lesson is intimacy, that is, service must nurture closeness through communication. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through guidance aligned with patience. Ultimately, Saturn in Shravana makes karma a sanctuary of discipline, where listening blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Dhanishta. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Dhanishta nakshatra, service is rhythmic, prosperous, and socially connected. The karmic worker inspires abundance and community, but tests generosity through responsibility. Duty resonates with rhythm and prosperity, while the aura is magnetic and graceful. Dharma thrives on wealth and community, but Saturn slows fulfillment, teaching balance. The servant blesses generosity, guiding the soul to harmonize prosperity with dharma. The karmic lesson is balance, that is, service must temper abundance with devotion. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through generosity aligned with truth. Ultimately, Saturn in Dhanishta makes karma a celebrant of discipline, where prosperity blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Shatabisha. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Shatabisha nakshatra, service is mysterious, healing, and unconventional. The karmic worker inspires secrecy and healing, but tests trust through detachment. Duty is profound, detached, and mystical, while the aura is enigmatic and magnetic. Dharma thrives on hidden truths, but Saturn delays healing, teaching patience. The servant blesses wisdom through mystery, guiding the soul to embrace the unknown. The karmic lesson is trust, where service must accept mystery as a path to dharma. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through healing aligned with patience. Ultimately, Saturn in Shatabisha makes karma a healer of discipline, where mystery blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Purva Bhadrapada. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra, service is intense, spiritual, and transformative. The karmic worker inspires asceticism and extremes but tests balance through devotion. Duty is passionate, profound, and karmic, while the aura is striking and fiery. Dharma thrives on intensity, but Saturn slows fulfillment, teaching stability. The servant blesses spiritual fire, guiding the soul to temper extremes with patience. The karmic lesson is balance, that is, the service must harmonize intensity with dharma. The worker shows that true growth lies in devotion expressed with stability. Ultimately, Saturn in Purva Bhadrapada makes karma a mystic fire, where discipline blossoms into dharma. The next nakshatra is Uttara Bhadrapada. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, shines in Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra, service is patient, stable, and deeply spiritual. The karmic worker inspires hidden wisdom and endurance, but tests detachment through responsibility. Duty is calm, introspective, and profound, while the aura is serene and wise. Dharma thrives on patience and stability, but Saturn slows progress, teaching endurance. The servant blesses wisdom through patience, guiding the soul to embrace intimacy that grows slowly. The karmic lesson is stillness, that is, service must embrace devotion through stability. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through patience aligned with truth. Ultimately, Saturn in Uttara Bhadrapada makes karma a sanctuary of discipline, where stillness blossoms into dharma. The last nakshatra is Revati. When Saturn, the kāraka of the servant, resides in Revati nakshatra, service is gentle, compassionate, and protective. The karmic worker inspires kindness and guidance, but tests self-care through responsibility. Duty is loyal, nurturing, and protective, while the aura is soft and calming. Dharma thrives on compassion, but Saturn slows fulfillment, testing balance. The servant blesses safe journeys and kindness, guiding the soul to balance care for others with care for self. The karmic lesson is self-love, that is, service must nurture without losing self. The worker shows that dharma is preserved through compassion aligned with responsibility. Ultimately, Saturn in Revati makes karma a shepherd of discipline, where compassion blossoms into dharma.